Hey y'all, Dustin Shafer here. I am super excited. I just realized my wife hates it when I do this clap, and I did it right in the middle. I thought about it. I'm super excited about today. We are bringing to you basically the first ever military and ketones. Like, why is this conversation so important? We have an amazing crew on here. We have 3 majors and 2 pains in the butt. I'm just kidding. We have all the services except the Coast Guard and the National Guard representing today. We'll let them come next time, though. I just want to kind of give you a little bit of brief background, and then also we're going to just do a little roundtable talking about ketones, talking about performance in career, performance in the military, health benefits, and what we've been seeing. So if you're watching this out there, do me a huge favor. If you know somebody that's in the military, that serves in the military, or a spouse or a veteran, share this to them. Let them see this, because I think you're going to be kind of blown away that this all started basically because of the military. That's where the conversation really got going. And what we're talking about is ketosis. So myself, my name is Dustin Shafer. I served back in the 90s, 95, 99. I was a former recon Marine specialized in signals intelligence. I got out of the military. 10 years later, I married a lady that goes into the military. So not only was I enlisted, I was also, now I'm also a dependent as in the officer side. So I've seen the military from a very unique perspective, seeing her go through all her training, which was really cool. But also I'm a keto guy. I've been a keto educator, the keto pro. I've been a keto educator for 20 years. And for you that don't know what ketones are, I'm just going to briefly cover it and kind of talk about how we got here. And then I'm going to bring our crew on. So first off, the keto conversation has been around for about 100 years. About 100 years ago, the scientists started researching the ketogenic diet, but it was something that never really grabbed hold by many people because it was really hard to do. The diet was. Well, about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, the Department of Defense was looking at trying to get Navy SEALs. And NASA was looking into the same concept for their astronauts, get them into ketosis, but they didn't want to do this crazy hard diet that had been researched for 90 plus years. They wanted to find a way to get into ketosis another way. Well, guess what? Science figured it out, and they were able to get Navy SEALs into ketosis by a drink. Now it's a powder you mix in water and you drink it down. Well, 6 years ago, Prove It brought that patent to the world and basically formulated the first ever pure therapeutic ketone supplement that could get you into therapeutic level ketosis in less than an hour. That was 6 years ago. Now that patent has been advanced. We've advanced it and brought it way further forward. Tastes delicious. It's really, really good. But that original research was started for the Navy SEALs to get them into ketosis. And now we're fast forwarding 6 years, and we got an amazing team on board utilizing this product, all in different services for different reasons of using this product. So I'm going to bring them on. We're going to do a little interview, and I'm super excited about this. So Mike Evans, hey brother, you're on. Mike Evans, a veteran, also Semper Fi brother. I appreciate you showing up. So let's go and unmute, and I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves just really quickly. We'll start with Scott on the upper right-hand corner of my screen. Scott, go ahead and give us a little shout out. Your name, rank, where you're from, and what do you do?
Roger. Hey, everybody. My name's Scott Hall. I'm a major in the United States Army. I'm active duty. Right now, I am responsible for all of the tank training down over here at the Armor School. So armor guy by trade. I was a company commander in an airborne unit, so got definitely a very interesting background in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, yeah, just happy to be here and love everything about this community.
Awesome. All right, Pete, you're up, buddy.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. My name is Major Pete Mask. I'm working out of the Pentagon right now, trying to survive the flooding that's going on. I didn't know if I'd have power about 30 minutes ago, but anyways, I'm Air Force Reserve. I do congressional complaints for all the Air Force reservists out there. So if they have issues at the unit levels, background's crazy. I have 7 Air Force specialty codes, about to go to this 7th job now. 1 October, and then I'll promote to Lieutenant Colonel. So excited about that, and happy to be here and share.
Hey, congratulations on that future promotion. All right, Mr. Terry. We got Mr. Terry out of Florida. Terry's like I am. We're veterans. We served back in it seemed ancient times ago. And Terry has an unbelievable story. So Terry, where did you serve? What did you do back in the day? And what year did you serve? I actually don't know the actual dates. All right, Terry, we got to unmute you. I don't hear you.
I think his volume needs to just go up.
All right. Got me? All right, speak loud, buddy. Speak loud. It's the Navy, though. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, back in 88 to 92 for the Persian Gulf War, I was an electrician on an aircraft carrier. So my job was to keep the lights on, and if it spun or stopped spinning, it was my job to get it spinning again. So worked in the power motor rewind shop, and was there when we were flying sorties over to the Persian Gulf in Iraq, and loved every minute of it. Now I'm second generation. I got both my twin boys active serving in the Navy right now.
Awesome. That's so proud. I think that's so cool. All right. Last but not least, we're going to have my wife go. And I think our little girl just woke up. So she's going to start. I'm going to have her finish her part, and then I'm going to have her go get the girl. I think she's up.
Yep, sure.
Okay.
I didn't realize the years that you served, Terry, because that was actually when my brother Jim served at the same time. So yeah, he was in the Marine Corps at the time. But I'm April Shafer, and I am also a major in the Marine Corps. I did 7 years active duty, and then transferred to the reserves. Been loving that. Was an attorney in the Marine Corps by trade, so that's what I do when I go back and drill. I have a lot of really fun stories. I'm the life of any dinner party when I start talking about my trial days.
You know, the truth is my wife she thought I made up everything. She thought I was making up shit all the time. She said, this guy is full of it. And then she went in the service and realized I'm actually not crazy. I'm not a liar.
True
Yeah,
story.
no, the stories are all real.
Every big fish story that he told prior to joining, I just thought he was exaggerating the hell out of everything. And then I went through all the basic training, and I was like, oh, this shit's legit. He wasn't joking about any of it.
So we're going to tell a little bit about the story. So I made my wife start drinking ketones because I'm a keto person. I know what it does. I know how beneficial it is. I knew the science behind it all. I understood the Department of Defense, why they would want this in the Navy SEALs. So April, you started drinking the product because I made you, for the most part.
I did not like the first flavor.
She did not like the first flavor. We have so many amazing flavors now. But tell people kind of what was that initial benefit that you got in that first, about 6 weeks, you've noticed different benefits. But what was that initial benefit that you had, and why this has been so beneficial for you?
Yeah. So the initial benefit that I felt was honestly energy. Dustin did make me drink it. He was just like, you have to drink it. It's the healthiest thing. And contrary to popular belief, I do listen to this guy every once in a while. So I was there forcing myself to drink this drink I didn't like. And at the time, I was falling asleep at work. I was tired. I was frustrated, irritated. I just couldn't focus on my work. And as an attorney, you have to be able to focus on your work. You can't be giving out shoddy legal advice, because you're tired. That just doesn't work out well for anyone. And so what was keeping me awake and alert at work was the vending machine and coffee. I was drinking tons of coffee. I was eating a lot of candy because that sugar was another stimulus that would just keep me awake, which was not helping me lose any baby weight at all. And I just was not feeling great. And so what I noticed when I started drinking ketones right away was that I didn't have to hit the vending machine, and I wasn't craving coffee. I was able to just get through my day. I had one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and I had energy all day. And I felt good. I didn't have ebbs and peaks and stuff like that. I didn't want to take 5 minutes to lay down on the most disgusting floor imaginable just to get 5 minutes of shut eye on my lunch hour.
She used to do that all the
time. I used
to
do that. Lay down the towel.
Quick naps.
Yeah, quick naps.
Well, and really quick, now she went through a couple transformations after having babies. With the military, you have standards, weight standards, you have physical fitness standards. You can't just sit around to get back at it, right? Yeah. So you utilize it as a tool to get back in shape. I know this has helped with your PTs. It helped with your physical fitness test.
Yeah. So, it's actually been kind of crazy. So, I joined late. I joined at 28. And I, got really close to running a perfect PFT score, which is our annual physical fitness. I was 10 seconds off on my run. Otherwise I would have had a perfect score, at TBS. And after that, as I aged, it just went downhill. I got slower. It hurt longer. It was harder to train. It was harder to do any part of it. And then ketones came into my life, and my score started improving. I was still getting older, but my scores were improving. And I was like, this shit's crazy. And legitimately, I am 39 years old. So 11 years since I've joined, right? And I just ran a PFT. Pardon me, we're getting over being sick and I still got a cough. And I ran my best time on that 3 mile run that I've ran since I was 28 years old. And that was from drinking ketones. So 100% helps with the PFT. I drink ketones like every time before my PFT, before my CFT. And it's amazing what it's done to my score and my ability to just, I mean, I smoked. I ran with 2 guys that were like 10 years younger than me, and I smoked them both.
She was smoking while she ran and still beat them by 5 minutes. Well, babe, I appreciate it. I know we have a screaming baby in there. If she calms down, come back in and we'll ask you some more questions.
All right.
All right, let's go back over to Scott. You know, and really quick, in the audience out there, if you guys know somebody, or if you had a benefit of drinking ketones, what is your benefit? Put it in the chat below. But Scott, I would love to know. I mean, I see you and I got to meet a couple weeks ago. You look fit, you look healthy. What's your story? Why did you start drinking ketones, and what have you seen as a major in the Army?
Yeah, so been in the Army for about 13 years, and just like with everything, it's a lot of very physical, rigorous activity, especially when you're younger, right? And then as an officer, especially, you'll start to go up in rank, and you become more stagnant. Like, I'm a staff wanker now. Like, it got to the point too when I was a battle captain in a talk in the field. We go to the field a lot, so you're not really. You got to be very creative when you try to do PT in the field. But
right.
At the same time, you're eating regular Army food. You're not getting as much exercise because you're in the vehicles. Like, we'd be in the deserts of California or overseas somewhere, and you're just riding in these vehicles the entire time, and you can't stop to like go run 6 miles or eat well because you're eating MREs, and those like to hang out around your waist,
right?
And they're hard to burn off. So kind of compounding that over time, and then starting to slow down. I put on a bunch of weight, and I was starting to get to the point where I was like, I cannot sustain this if I'm going to continue to be competitive as a military officer and be able to lead men and women the way that they need to be out front. We're in the military. That's the thing. We are leaders from a very young age, and one of the big first signs that people take a look at is your physical fitness, because you're doing it every morning at formation
right.
with people, and that's an indicator. And I knew I had to change something. So I was introduced to the product and the technology, and within 2 months I lost 26 pounds. And previously, in a part of my history, I was training up for special forces, and I was like 175, and I could run 8 miles every day, and that had kind of weaned off after a while. After I started taking ketones, I immediately was able to go right back to running 6 miles every other day, working out like at my peak performance and maintaining all of that. I felt more awake, especially when you're like at this level in officers. You got to lead a lot of meetings. You got to lead a lot of military decision-making process meetings, and you got to be very concise, and you have to know a lot of knowledge and hold all of that. So I saw a lot of cognitive benefits. I saw a lot of peak physical benefits to it, and it just convinced me. And I'm a product of the success and what it's been able to give me, and I'm just extremely happy with this.
Awesome. Well, I think that's super cool. I did look up how many calories in MRE. I actually thought there was way more calories. It's only 1,250 calories in each MRE, but 51% of them are carbohydrate based, which, people think, hey, I need all those carbs, but the reality is we may not need as many of those. I remember when we used to have to strip our MREs down because we only had so much room in a ruck. And we got one a day, but it was about a half of one a day. And we always had to choose whatever had the most calories in it. Otherwise, we'd just run out of food. So I think it's really cool. Just to before I go to Terry here in a second, I want to touch on something. April and Scott both talked about this more sustainable energy and outperforming. They're out working out and doing more things. Well, if you start looking at the foundation of science of ketosis, ketones are an energy. The best researcher, the top performance researcher in the entire world researched our product and basically showed that you perform better. Yeah. And that being primarily energy. And so you get this sustainable energy all day long. And then Scott, you notice something else, which I think April did too as an attorney. She's like using her brain all the time. Now I was a field guy, right? I shot guns. That's what I did and jumped out of stuff. Like I didn't have to think.
Yeah,
Terry used the
write the orders.
He had to think way more than I did, right?
We write the orders.
What's that?
We sit back and write the orders and
yeah, you write the orders
with all the vehicles and stuff.
We execute them, and so I didn't have to use this much. I just had to I just do what you said, right? But the cognitive benefits. Ketones fuel that brain. As we get older, we get more tired, our brain fatigues, our eyes fatigue, and that's why you're noticing those shifts and changes. So anyway, I think that's really cool because the science really supports why you're seeing those benefits. But all right, I'm going to go to old school here, Mr. Terry. So talk to me. So you're a veteran. You're at another phase of your life. You have 2 young boys, twins in the Navy right now, following Dad's footsteps. And honestly, for everybody out there, April and I are big service people. We just, anybody that serves, to me, it's a huge privilege that we get to do this, and not everybody gets to serve. And so I think it's just really, really cool that your family's following your footsteps, and we could only be honored if our kids followed in ours. But now that you're in your second half of your life after the military, and talk about your benefits with ketones, and then I'm going to ask you a specific question more about what your piece of advice would be for somebody younger that's that doesn't want to get messed up like we did.
Sure thing. So,
oh yeah, talk up.
Enlisted in the Navy, instead of writing orders, I was riding in a Jeep. I was the guy going out on weekends, drinking the beers with the guys at the local places all throughout Europe, right?
Right.
So that's fine in your 20s, right? But when you hit your 30s and your 40s, that sticks around that midsection a little bit more. And I was, like a lot of people, I was in the best shape of my life when I was in the Navy. And then as you get out and you get married and you have kids and you keep up those same habits, you lose that being in great shape because you're not as disciplined like the military teaches you. And as an electrician, as a enlisted, I was standing 6-hour watches on and off 24 hours a day during my entire 7-month cruise over the Mediterranean, running a switchboard. So for 6 straight hours, watching dials, turning knobs, and making sure the whole ship's running smooth. Yeah, I wish I would have had the mental focus, that this product offers back then, because I was falling asleep half the time on those watches from midnight to 6 o'clock in the morning, let me tell you. But I needed it because I had gotten out of shape. Let's put it basic. I had gotten fat and unhealthy and on a bunch of medication because I wasn't taking care of my body. And someone cared about me enough to introduce it to me. And that military side of me kicked in and said, you're better than this. You were trained better than this. More is expected of you, especially with young men about to go serve. So I took it seriously. I embraced it. I can show a picture real quick, but that's how bad it got.
Wow.
Right? And I was dying. So I was fortunate that the military invented this for us Navy guys, because like you said, you can want the best out of a Navy SEAL, but they're going to eat their carbs. So they had to come up with something so they could get both the performance and get to enjoy themselves on the weekend. But it literally saved my life. I wouldn't be here today if this product wasn't introduced to me, because I needed that extra thing to push me over the edge, to relight that competitive spirit of service and survival in me. And this product did it.
Well, I love your story. You're down like 70 plus pounds now and have taken your health back. And I say this because a good friend of mine, Brian Mouche, I know Mike Evans is on here, and we have lots of us veterans. A lot of people don't know, because I try to really take care of myself, but I'm 100% disabled. I have more surgeries to come than I would like to count. And, it gets harder. Like, things get more complicated as you get older, especially as the more that you've abused your body when you're younger. And there's an ego part of this. And I just want to touch on that. I'm going to have Pete come on in a second. But there's an ego part of this, because I know Terry originally was like, no, I'm going to do it on my own. I'll figure it out. And then he's like, okay, I need help. And so I work with Navy SEALs all throughout the world. I work with Special Forces. I've worked with MARSOC. I've worked with, you name it. I've probably had my hands on it. High-level firefighters, ER doctors, SWAT, police officers. And I find the ego in there. They're like, well, they either don't ask for freaking help, so stop it. Ask for help. We're here to support you. Or they always want to do it the damn hard way. Meaning they're like, I can figure this out on my own. If they did it, I can do it. Well, listen, this was originally developed from Navy SEALs because they didn't want to do it the hard way. And they're pretty damn badass. I'm just telling you. Like, they're pretty awesome. They wanted to find a shortcut, a simpler way. There's a reason right? There's a reason we have airplanes. It's easier to get from A to B in airplanes, right? There's a reason we're not on boats all the time. There's a reason we've invented things to help things get easier. And so if you're especially if you're a stubborn vet, I'm going to get to the military active duty reservists here in a second, but if you're a stubborn vet, listen, whoever invited you to check this out, check it out. They care about you, and we care about you, and we want to support you and help you because we know that it isn't always easy. The head gets a little squirrely. I've been hitting the head a lot. Things don't work up here like they're supposed to, not for the normal folks. They get a little squirrely, and ketones have really helped balance that out for a lot of us. So, Pete, I would love to hear your story out there in the Pentagon.
Hey, Dustin, thanks. So I'll give you a little pre-context. When I was a young captain, I lived in Los Angeles, and I had work-life balance where I lost it, right? I was in LA, and my solar power watch died. Like, I sent it in, and Sony's like, we've never had this, or Casio's like, we've never had this happen. A solar power watch, where do you live? I said, Los Angeles. I said, how is it dying? I said, because I'm working in an office building 20 hours a day. So that was a time where I actually failed my first fitness test. I got up to like 212 pounds. Heaviest I'd ever got, and I got desperate, and I did everything. I was doing hydrocolon therapy. I was electrocuting my stomach with like seaweed. It was kind of like ionothermy. I mean,
he's in LA, so just everybody keep that in mind. He's in LA.
Yeah, I was in LA. I electrocuted myself with seaweed. Come on, that's crazy. Like, I'm Asian. I eat seaweed. I don't do that crap. So I was doing that. I mean, I did everything. And then I found a diet called Ideal Protein. It was like Atkins and keto on steroids, like keto diet on steroids. And it was expensive. I was irritable. I was angry and nasty and just not a good person to be around, not a decent human. Fast forward to now, you know, I came from officer training school in Alabama where everything's deep fried and slathered in butter. And then I come to the Pentagon, and then a pandemic hits. And I'm like, holy crap. And then I start supporting local and eating Uber Eats. And you know, I was like, oh, it's this DoorDash thing. And I'm telling you, I went up back to 212. So I roller coastered back up from 190. And I was at a 38-inch waist. I like to think because of pride, I was at 36. I wasn't. The pants said 36, but they were a little stretchy, if you know what I'm saying. And I got desperate, and I found a nutritional coaching group. I met Matt and Debbie Hammond. And he introduced me to this tool called Ketones. And, you know, when I got it, I was like, you know, I've tried everything else short of liposuction and cool sculpting. I said, what is it going to hurt? So I did the Ketones, and I was working from home. I was having to do the Starbucks run twice a day. I mean, you know, it's bad when Starbucks is getting an Uber Gold Elite status, right? You're like, holy crap, right? Like my every sixth drink was free, right? So I was dependent on caffeine, and I was like, I started doing this, and I did it for the weight loss, but then I started getting really good mood. And I got to tell you, like, I went down a whole pant size in the military, which the size ranges from like 1 to, y'all know this, it's like a range of 5 different pant sizes. So when I went down one full pant size, I was like, uh-oh, this is crazy. I had to replace all my uniforms because I literally was like, I was like the magic shrinking man. Like, I had more chins than a Chinese phone book at first. I mean, you look at my ID. I mean, went to the Pentagon, and they looked at my ID, go, we need a secondary check. They did not believe it was me. That's how good it was. That's how good it was. But I mean, for me, processing congressionals at home, I'm working as a basement troll at home right now because I'm in the basement, and I'm doing all these congressionals virtually. I have to read every little thing, and I have to task it out. And, you know, it's a crazy job. It's kind of like April's job. You know, you got to analyze every little thing and make sure it gets in the right compartments and the right people. So the mood helped. I mean, I can't speak highly enough, not only for what it's done for me, but just for my friends and family I've introduced it to. They're all loving it. My mom took it wrong and still lost 3 dress sizes. I mean, I get random calls from Korean church neighbors. I don't even know who they are. Just randomly call me. I'm like, oh, you Peter, mommy tell me don't stop eating pork and drink this drink. I'm like, yeah, do that. Yeah, let's talk.
Mommy's putting on her face. She's doing all the things. Well, that's awesome. I just want to touch on this. I'm going to open this up for a few minutes, and we're just going to do kind of a little round table. But you notice that some of you are watching this going, okay, how do I – we were – every service calls it different, but there's a lot of military guys now that are struggling with weight, and women, boys and men and women. And it hurts us. It hits me hard. Somebody that understands nutrition, they're doing it wrong, flat out, just flat out, if you're right now struggling in the weight and you're in the military service, the advice you're getting is wrong. And the things that people do to cut weight is just stupid. I mean, they're sweating themselves in sweat boxes. They're putting garbage bags on in saunas. They're exercising, running marathons, but yet not weight training and not eating low carb. And they're eating Subways thinking that's going to help. And they just don't understand it. It's simple. It really is. And the fat loss component that you guys have all noticed with this, April's went through a few transformations, is ketones reduces sugar and carb cravings so that you can start making better decisions, right? And as long as we can educate, especially the younger generations, that, these Subways and these fast food restaurants, they don't have your best interest. And there's ways to even eat there and still keep it kind of low carb. You don't have to stop eating that stuff. You just have to choose it differently. And, we can try to support you guys in that. But ketones are vital to help with fat metabolism, help reduce carb cravings, help us maybe go an intermittent fast and eat only 2 meals a day, which can help reduce calories so that it can support fat loss, especially as you get older when you don't need as much food. When you're training all the time, Scott, I bet you used to eat a lot. And then now you kept eating the same amount, but yet you were not working out the same amount and the weight starts to gain. So Scott, I'd love to open up to you and kind of say, what's one thing that you've been excited about kind of learning about the conversation, and what do you think this could be a valuable add to maybe just troops in general?
Yeah, so the benefits of what this has brought to not only myself, but to everybody that we've heard from is something that the military has been struggling with for a long time. We are a much more sedentary Army these days, and again, you can walk through any of the dining facilities that we have, and you're going to see nothing but fried food, starch stuff, and even the food that is like green labeled. I have it green labeled. It's supposed to be like healthy for you, but it's not. It's kind of like prison food, honestly. Unless you go to an Air Force DFAC, there's a lot better. Yep.
Don't even get the Marine Corps involved here, because we have the lowest standards when it comes to basically everything.
Oh yeah. Don't ever go to an Air Force base. I learned that going to an Air Force gym at Nellis Air Force Base. I was like, I picked the wrong service.
It makes you wonder why we chose the right service we chose.
Oh man, they're over there having Air Force is over there having like shrimp cocktails for dinner and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, so like body weight is a huge problem. I probably have at least 30 different soldiers right now that are getting they're on the Army body fat program. And again, they put them in a bod pod. They talk to a nutritionist, and they say, hey, run a lot, work out, and try to eat a little better. And they test them in 6 months again. And again, they'll go through the rigmarole of trying to go through all these different, witchcraft of a lose weight program or whatnot, and not get any results. And then they get frustrated, and then they get down on themselves, and they go back to playing their video games, and this compacts upon itself. And we see this time and time again. And we need people. We call it readiness. It's across the board. Readiness is huge for everything that we do. We have to be ready to go at any point in time, especially being in the Army. And I'm pretty sure just like all the rest of the forces, we have what's called like a global response force, kind of like what the 82nd just did over in Afghanistan. So each different type of unit has a ready force, and they have to be ready to go at any point in time. I'm talking bags packed, weapons ready to go in a locker, and then the balloon goes up and you roll out. So it's critical for people to not only be able to think, it's critical for people to be able to have that weight loss and to be able to fit into these vehicles and whatnot. But one thing too, we, unlike a lot of folks that, out there in different types of careers, we have to go further, faster, harder, and under worse conditions. You'll find yourself jumping in the middle of a Romanian field, and you have to go on this operation for 72 hours against Romanian soft, and you're only eating MREs and carrying ammo. And that's just the level of training, and you have to push yourself. You're going 24, 36, 72 hours, just going on and on. You have to have clarity of mind because, number one, you have people's lives. We are responsible for other people's lives. You have to make those correct decisions that's going to focus on the safety, mitigate risk while accomplishing the mission all at the same time. So it's very vital that you're able to have that clarity of mind. And that's one thing that I've seen a drastic improvement from my own experiences with this. That's
awesome. I think that's important to recognize is that, we all serve, we all appreciate serving, but we also, I think we should hold ourselves at a higher standard, to be honest. And I think it starts at the younger generations. Just, they don't understand nutrition because they were brought up into basically a pretty bad world of nutrition. Terry's so dang old that he couldn't even be raised in a bad nutrition. I'm just kidding, Terry. You're like my age. I'm just playing with you. I think you got me like by 5 years. But so Terry, what's your piece of advice to that your sons? Like, what would you tell your sons? They're in the service right now. What is your piece of advice to them from kind of a an education perspective? Maybe a little bit of a wisdom perspective, knowing what it's like 25 years later when you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
speak up a little bit, bud.
One thing that I notice is that, most of the young guys now, their idea of getting in shape is just go with their buddy to the fitness center and put in, 45 minutes of throwing some weight around. And that's what they think getting healthy is. And they're not looking at the big picture of the mental, the diet and everything else. They're just trying to put some muscle on just by throwing weight around. And they're missing two huge components, and they're risking injury. And one thing that I kind of like to say from the veteran perspective is, I've gone into different VA facilities and you see the physical damage, and sometimes you don't see the emotional damage that these veterans come home with. And sometimes that lack of knowledge manifests itself in getting out of shape and getting unhealthy. And sometimes that's the first and maybe easiest thing that they can tackle so that they can get back some of that pride, some of that mental, sharpness and that desire and will to fight some of those battles that they've been fighting ever since they left the service. So, sometimes taking our health seriously and having a product and tool to do that can be the first step in changing, if not saving, a lot of lives of our service brothers and sisters that might be, falling through the cracks, or we're just trying to get them medicated or, some type of, pills to take, where we can approach it from a holistic perspective of their entire mind, body, health paradigm that could save a lot of lives.
Right. It's like positive momentum, right? Give them something to start building momentum on. And, we all got challenges we still have to maybe work through, but at least if we have other things that we can lean on, then we can work through those challenges even more. What do you think, babe? Women in the military, where do you feel that this can play a role for more of a female side? We have all these, badass dudes on here. How do you see this as a tool for females to utilize this as a resource for them?
Ooh, a lot. Something for me was I always knew that I wanted a career. I wanted to serve. I wanted to have a family, right? It's not easy as a female. It's not easy having a family in the military in general, but it's not easy I think especially being female and going through being pregnant, giving birth, trying to get your body back. And I mean, it's gotten a lot better. Geez, when Alexander was born, I had 6 weeks of maternity leave. So I was back at work full time at 6 weeks with no sleep, and it was not a great place to be. And physically I was still in a lot of pain, from giving birth. And, it's hard. It's hard the more kids you have, the older you are, everything to get your body back. And ketones are like a secret weapon. They are going to get you to get through your day faster. You can focus better. You can have more energy. We all make mistakes in general in life, right? That's just the way it is. And depending, on what you do on a daily basis, but you might have more latitude in regards to the consequences of those mistakes. But in the military, those can be pretty dire, right? And so you're just not going to be making those mental mistakes. You're not going to be fatigued. So you're going to get in the fight quicker mentally, physically. You're going to get your body back quicker. You're going to perform better, even though, Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's like my stomach is all jacked up. Like my abs are separated, my belly button's herniated. I need like surgeries to fix that stuff, right? But I'm still able to perform. I was able to do a good, I don't know, 3.5 minute plank. I was able to run that score I was telling you guys earlier because of ketones, right? I was able to stay in the fight and stay active, even though like my body is not what it once was, and it never will be. That's the thing that, I think that they don't always talk to you about. So, there aren't a lot of females in the military, right? We're a very small number. And so what we do always is going to stand out. And so I think that while everyone wants to perform their best, I think sometimes women sometimes feel a little more pressure to perform at a higher level because they know there's a level of scrutiny on them, and ketones will get you to perform at that higher level, even when you're not feeling like it, even when you're sleep deprived. So whether you're sleep deprived because you've been up all night on duty, or you're on operation, whatever it is that you're doing, it's going to get you to perform well. So, and I think that it allows you to have that dream of having a family and being active in the military at a much higher rate than without them.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that we talk a lot about the female side of things, and I'm very fascinated with it all because I was the opposite. I was the guy that just went 100 miles per hour and just didn't put blinders up to what was going on her world. And it's been really cool to see that now because I have lots of female friends that are either currently serving or served with me, and they're still great friends today. But I didn't understand what it was like for them compared to what I did. I didn't pay attention. I was an ignorant man, just did what I did. All right, Pete. Go ahead.
Did you guys talk about mood at all yet? Has anyone talked about that? I apologize because I had to step out of the room.
She had a baby to attend to. Yeah, a little bit, I think, not significantly. My wife, just so you know, I'm going to bring Pete back in just a second and we'll wrap up. But so as an attorney and a major in the military, active duty major?
No, I was okay. Captain.
So captain, major, or captain, a lawyer, she was pretty grumpy. And so ketones had a big impact on our relationship because of what it did to make her, she just got happier. And so that is something that you want to touch on just briefly before we,
wrap up. So anyone out there, I mean, it can come in all shapes and forms and sizes, but I was just in a dark place. I wasn't happy. I was grumpy. I was irritated. I was snapping and yelling at him. And I knew that there was something wrong. I didn't quite know how to fix it. I tried a couple things. Nothing was really working. And I just felt shittier and shittier mentally. And so drinking ketones was a lifeline for me. I started waking up happier, started dancing with my kids, not yelling at him. So for anyone out there that's like struggling with their mood, snapping at their spouses, their kids, just not being the person they want to be, ketones majorly impacted my mood in such a good way. And for me, that was a gradual change. I mean, it was 6 weeks in before I even noticed that benefit. He noticed it right away, but I didn't notice it till I didn't drink my ketones one day. And then all of a sudden those frustration and anger feelings came back to me. And I was like, ooh, this is way more than helping me with my energy. This is way more than fat loss. This is something really big. So just wanted to throw it out there who anyone might be struggling with that.
Yes, it's a relationship changer. I promise you that. All right, Pete, any piece of advice, any words of wisdom do you have for anybody that's watching this from a service perspective? And then we're going to wrap it up.
Just try it. I mean, the biggest thing is we are our own worst enemy. We think that if we go do CrossFit, which I love CrossFit, but I'm old now, right? Can't do CrossFit. I'll break things. These Asian looks make me look younger. I look like this. I'm 60. I'm good. But anyways, my point is, just get out of your own way. I mean, I thought I tried everything. I knew here's the thing. The thought while you're sitting there, fat, disgusted with yourself, size 36, which really is size 40 pant, you're like, I can do this on my own. I just need to suck it up and get out there and go do it. Wrong. Like it's like beating your head against a wall, right? I mean, what did Einstein say? Madness is repeating the same thing over and expecting a different result. Like I was like, I can do this. No, I needed help. Like you said at the beginning of the call, ask for help. Just drink this stuff. It's not going to make you grow a third horn or a tail. It's not going to be a legal substance. I just had blood work done. I can tell you we're good. But I mean, just drink it and try it. And you know what? If you need help, ask the person that referred you to the stuff and just try it. Because, I mean, I can either go spend $800 and go do a very restrictive diet and be pissed off and angry all the time, or I can go to drink something for a quarter of the cost that's even better and makes me feel better and focus and mood, energy, and all that stuff. I got to tell you, all the benefits come to you. You may start one way, but you'll get second, third, and fourth order effect benefits that you never even anticipated.
Right.
So just get out of your own way and quit making it overcomplicated. And if you have questions or need help, just ask.
Yeah. Just ask any one of us. Of course, you can reach out to me. I will support you guys however I can from a coaching perspective. And y'all, it's a powder you mix in water. You drink it down once or twice a day. It's a Starbucks a day. Most of you right now watching this, you guys are drinking too much beer. There's somewhere we can cut back on it from a cost perspective. There's something in your daily life that we can get rid of. Red Bulls, Monsters, y'all, those things are bad. There's actually, it increases your risk of spraining an ankle. It increases your risk of injury. All those do. I got science on it, on the whole thing. I mean, we don't even like at the high level, you shouldn't be consuming any of that. If you want to change your life, that stuff is not good for you. It's not real energy. It's stimulants that mess you up, and they actually it increases your risk of spraining your ligaments. Like, it's not good. It increases the risk of injury. This was originally developed for the Department of Defense. The original patent was, we've advanced way past that. It's a powder you mix in water, drink it down. And I'm going to just touch on this one last thing is that if you served in the United States Armed Services or any service anywhere in the world, we have followers around the world, you probably are used to being part of a team. And that's what this is about. It's not about you just trying to figure it out. We are here to support you. We've been through it. I know what deep, dark depression looks like. I know what head injuries look like. I know what physical injuries look like. I know what it is to do things that other people have never seen or done before. And most people that have served have seen that before. And so we have a team of us behind here to support you wherever you're starting from. So whoever invited you maybe hasn't served, and maybe they don't know what you've been through. Don't disregard what they're asking you to try or to check out because they can't relate to you. There's somebody out there that can and has. And so allow them to connect to one of us so that we can have a conversation. You know how many times I get on calls with former Navy SEALs that have been in for 25 years and they're in the worst place in their life. It's like they feel this big and this tall because they don't know which way's up, and they're just looking for hope and looking for better in their life. They're overweight, they're grumpy, they're moody, they're tired, they're sitting on their butt, they're not doing anything. And it's like, holy cow, dude, there's a whole community here that support you. So come be part of this community, use something that's scientifically backed, and get back to whoever invited you, because I know there's people following us all over the world. Whoever invited you cares about you and shared this with you. So get back to them and give this thing a try. Come at minimum, come do the challenge with us. And let's change your life. Let's get you back to where you belong. Let's get you back to your fighting weight, your fighting size, your fighting desires of how you know that you should be and live your life. So, man, I appreciate you all being on. Truly do. Any last words you guys got before we jump off? And we'll be doing some more of these, so I can't wait.
Yeah, just one thing on that, like you mentioned it, Dustin, is the military is decisively addicted to energy drinks.
Oh, scary.
And it's scary. And if there is something like this type of technology to get in the hands of just a couple hundred or thousand people within the military, they would see that, and we'd be able to kind of get rid of that pandemic that we see in the military, because it's sugar, and it's causing a lot of this overweightness because the kids just don't know. And the one last thing I'll say is, like, for example, in basic training that we have here, the drill sergeant's got to make sure that the kids drink 2 cups of milk a night, because all they've done is literally drinking Monsters from the time they were a little kid through high school.
Right. That's a topic on itself. I studied under Charles Paul Quinn, who's one of the number one strength conditioning coaches of all time, and he's done numerous studies with the United States Army, and we special ops, special forces. We worked on cognition. It was really cool stuff. And it's sad. Right now, I work with a lot of the former X Game athletes, the guys that started all this. They're the ones that were the original people promoting Monsters and Red Bull, right? Well, here's the funny stories. They're all so dang old now that they have teenagers. Well, guess what? All their teenage sons and daughters are drinking energy drinks. And they're like, you can't drink that. It's bad for you. But it was them that started it all, right? And now they're trying to get them to stop doing what they actually created 15, 20 years ago. So it's really an interesting turn of events. And so I think we just have to pour into education. And unfortunately, when we're young, we're a little bit dumb and we think we're invincible. And we all were there. I've been there myself. but we have to provide at least a level of education, and somebody has to become the example. So I just want to give a big shout out to you, Terry, as a veteran, Scott, Pete, April. You guys are becoming the example. You're becoming the best version of yourself, and that's what we need more people to step up and do, and wear it on their sleeve and say, listen, come follow me, because what we're doing isn't working. And we are the greatest fighting force in the world. And the only way, at least I believe that, and the only way to maintain that fighting force is to maintain our health. And we got to keep leading from the front. So you guys, I appreciate you all. Get your ketones if you don't have any. Get back to whoever invited you, and let's get you healthier than you ever can be. Salute. Cheers, y'all. Nice work.